And I'm Hailey.
Hi, I'm Sierra.
And I'm Hailey. We're going to make a documentary on a real haunted cemetery. Sierra will tell you more about this.
This cemetery is dated back from the 1800s, so that makes it over 200 years old. This cemetery is also haunted by monster ghouls and ghosts.
Do you dare to come with us on this terrifying experience?
Are you brave enough?
Right now we are at Sierra's house and neighborhood. Then we'll be off to a 200-year-old haunted cemetery.
But before we go, we will interview a few people to see how they feel about two young girls going to a haunted cemetery at night.
Here is Sierra's neighborhood, and we're going to find some people to interview on this 200-year-old haunted cemetery.
Okay, we're walking down Chapman. We still haven't found anybody yet. We're still looking.
We're here at the Crystal on Chapman Highway, and we found some people to interview. Right now, in just a moment, we will interview them and see how they think two girls should be in a haunted cemetery. Have you had any experiences for this cemetery?
Yes, I have. I've never seen it myself, but I've heard that there is a lady named Miss Vandergrift who's buried in the cemetery, and the way that she died was that she let her little chihuahua Buffy out one morning, and he was going to use the bathroom, and when he went out on the front porch, this gang of wild dogs jumped on him, and when she went out to save him, they got her too. In her last dying breath, supposedly, she said that she would take revenge on all dogs for hurting little Buffy. So every Halloween, like the night before Halloween or around that time, then you have to keep all your dogs up and keep them on leashes when you walk them, because if you don't, then she could come and get you. And so all of my neighbors seem to have lost dogs. So I keep mine in on Halloween. So I would say that would be a pretty scary experience. I wouldn't want to let my little dog out around Halloween, because poor Buffy's dead's going to be avenged.
I'd hate my dog dying too.
Have you had any experiences with a haunted cemetery?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we had my hometown, we had the cemetery next door. One year, well, right around this time, Halloween time. See, back then they used dynamite that lasted a whole while. This one guy, he had a short fuse on the dynamite that he used. And to his arm. Well, he died, I say about 15 years after the accident. But he still, he wasn't whole. He wanted his arm back. Well, we go by the cemetery that's adjacent to the coal mine. We turn over headstones and stuff. For kids. Then on that anniversary, the guy's accident. I was out there visiting, seeing some. Turns out I had passed on. All of a sudden, I feel stiff close in the back of my neck. Knocked me out. When I come to, I was in the hospital. Come to find out that the guy with the ghost with the missing arm, he got mine. And this is all I got left. Left to show. Now I'm not old. Now I'm going to be looking for another arm.
Any experience with this cemetery?
I've heard a story about it.
I can't hear you.
I've heard a story about it. There were these supposedly two women who drove up to the cemetery. I suppose they were just sightseeing. It was late in the evening. been in love with a man, and they lived near the cemetery. And this was years and years ago. And you're laughing, and it's hard. And he didn't want to be with her anymore, so she hung herself in a tree. And underneath the tree, or near the tree, is a big rock. And these women, really didn't believe in ghost stories, really didn't care about it or anything. Just the thrill of going up there. So they did, and they were looked around the whole cemetery, and they didn't see nothing. They said, well, let's just go on home. So they got in their car, they were getting ready to pull off when they seen this light in the woods. And it wasn't a bright light, but it was like a glowing type light. And as they got back out of the car, they walked over to where the light was, and this was the same rock, the same tree, and they saw the figure of the woman, and she was standing there as though she was crying, and she had long black curly hair and a long dress on, and it was like almost like the wind was blowing her, her hair and her dress, and she seemed really sad and crying. And that's the story of the woman on the rock.
Next to the cemetery, there is a pumpkin patch and a corn maze. It is said to be haunted by the ghost of the cemetery that we will be visiting tonight, only on Halloween night. So Haley, we heard that you have had experiences with a haunted graveyard too.
Yes, my aunt, her house was built on top of a graveyard, and it's said to be mainly women in the house. So whenever a man knocks on the door, the whole house goes ballistic. I mean, books fly everywhere. A heavy chair is about as heavy as a washing machine gets picked up. So I bet it's pretty creepy whenever a man knocks on the door, especially since my aunt's boyfriend comes over all the time. It's not good to be in that house
But why does the house go ballistic?
because it's mainly women under the house that they were all murdered by their husbands. They had like their own little memorial for the women and who've all been murdered. So it's pretty much like a women's cemetery, and so whenever a man knocks on the door, sets foot on the grass or the concrete or anything right in front of the house just goes nuts. So a guy's entered their territory.
Have you witnessed this firsthand?
No,
You haven't?
no.
Okay. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Sierra. I've heard that you've had some experiences with this cemetery.
Don't you have a question for me?
Yes, I'm sorry. I've heard that you've had an experience with the cemetery.
Well, actually, no, I haven't had an actual experience, but I've heard about it.
Okay, can you tell us about it, please?
There was this lady, elder lady, who had a Cocker Spaniel, and it was like her pride and joy and whatever. And he obeyed her and whatever. And then one night, she had passed away because of old age. And the Cocker Spaniel, he had to live with the woman's daughter, and the woman moved in right next to the cemetery where her mother was buried. And the Cocker Spaniel, every night before eating his food, he would take a mouthful and lay it on his master's grave. He knew right where it was, and then he would just kind of sit by it until nightfall, and then he would go back to the house and eat the rest of the food that he didn't eat. And then he would go back the next day, of course, and then the food would have been mysteriously gone. He thinks it was a way of his master showing him that she still loved him and cared for him.
Thank you. Is there like anything else that you need to add?
I like the cemetery. I'm so scared. We're still looking for ghosts at the cemetery, but we haven't found any yet. Oh my gosh, Hailey, I think I see something over there. You're right, Sierra, run! Run faster, Hailey! I don't know. Let's go see. He has to be around here somewhere.
No, you stupid.
Come in here, crazy. Wait, we're over here. No, Hailey. Shh. Help me. Wait, Hailey. Sierra. I'm over here. Thank goodness I found you. This is freaky. Let's go. I know, let's go. I can't breathe. You okay? Okay, stop. Thank goodness that's over. Yeah, now let's get out of this place before that creepy thing comes back. That proves it.
The end. Cord.
Well, Sarah, I guess that proves it.
Proves what, Hailey?
This cemetery is haunted on Halloween night, October 31st.
I just can't believe it was true. And we got proof.
I know. I guess this concludes our documentary on this haunted cemetery.
And just remember, don't go into a haunted cemetery at night, especially on October 31st, Halloween. Goodbye.
Started it. The 31st.
The 31st.
I said the 31st.